And welcome to another edition of the Sunday Night Roundtable discussion show here on the OHIO podcast. Do us a big favor if you don't mind this evening. Go ahead and smash that like button. If you're not subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? You're doing it wrong. Subscribe right now. We've had an absolute amazing week of subscriptions, and thank you to each and every single one of you. If indeed you have subscribed this week for the first time here at the OHIO podcast, we appreciate you. Thank you very much. If you've been subscribed for a long time, tip of the hat to you. A mighty big OH. Thanks for hanging around. It's going to be a little bit of an interesting show tonight, to say the least. It's going to be an interesting show. But like Archie said, and I wanted to remind everybody tonight, it's about getting back up. If you want to stay knocked down, I guess you're a quitter. But if you want to get back up and keep swinging, that's what the expectation is for Ohio State from us as Buckeye fans. Today's episode is brought to you by A Place at Home Senior Care. If your loved one is recovering from a recent hospitalization or stroke or fall, maybe they're living with dementia or they need support at home, like medication reminders, bathing, mobility assistance, things like that, A Place at Home is the place you want to call. Go visit them at aplaceathome.com/Dublin or call them 740-472-8181. Of course, we have merch over in our merch store, link below. You want to get a Podfather hoodie, t-shirt, hat, you can do so over on our merch. And we've got Illuminati, we got the Buckeye ladies, we've got the Schrock Star, the Buckeye Lounge gear, regular OHIO podcast gear, TG the Wolverine Slayers over there. All of that over in our merch store, and we will be adding some more items very, very soon for you. So make sure you all check that out. And of course, this evening, we want to make sure that you all know that the other entity that helps bring us this show, well, that would be MyBookie. And you can use the promo code OHIO at MyBookie to get a $500 bet back insurance. I would have needed that this weekend, Chris, on my 5 parlay. I did get 2 right.
2 out of 5 is bad.
That's bad.
That's about the ratio of good offensive line play we had yesterday.
Well, yeah,
2 out of 5.
Yep.
not great, that's for sure. But yeah, I did get 2 of them right, so feeling good about that. Let me turn my volume down. I realized I was a little hot there. Yeah, I'm pretty hot. Sorry about that, guys. Didn't mean to blow your eardrums away here early on. I should have checked that before we got started. And Chris, you kind of sound a little low, to be honest with you. That being said, guys, let's go ahead and get this out of the way right off the bat. Tonight's show is a time to get things off of our chest. There's going to be some therapy, I guess is the best way to put it. Anger therapy, anger management therapy. I don't know. A lot of people want to get things off their chest. That's what tonight is for here on this show. And then we've got some interesting topics in the second part of the show. I understand tonight things are going to get a little ugly talking about this game. I get that. I just want to remind everybody before we get started. We have a chance to win the national championship. And when this season started, I thought this was a 10-win team. My goal for this team was to beat the team up north and find a way to get into the college football playoff. Mission accomplished on both those goals. Did I want to beat Indiana? Did I want to get the Big Ten championship? Shoot, did I want to keep winning games and go undefeated? You betcha. Absolutely I wanted to. But I'm not going to sit here tonight and pout because this football team, despite everything that happened this week, good and bad, is in the college football playoff with a bye. And they're 3 wins away from going back to back. Now the question is, will Ryan Day and his coaching staff get them ready and be prepared for the Cotton Bowl? That's the question. But let's start here, Chris. We'll start with you. And by the way, I hang around too. After our commercial break, halfway through, I have a very special thing I'm going to read to everybody. It's a really awesome letter that was sent to me today. So I'm going to read that after the halfway break. Chris, your initial thoughts of Ohio State's 13-10 loss in the Big Ten championship game to the Indiana Hoosiers.
This was the worst coached, worst executed game plan of Ryan Day's tenure at Ohio State. Nothing short of pathetic. This was a team that went out there uninspired, without a sense of urgency, without any heart at all. They went out there and treated this like another game. Like they didn't understand the fact that this was the first time since 2020 that they had an opportunity to win a Big Ten title. And I understand where people come from who say, well, the game isn't really relevant because you still get to the championship. I understand people saying that, but you know what? I'm going to use a word that the scum fans like to use a lot. It's called coping. That's all that is coping. Because if you do not want to win every single game, and if you do not want to win the Big Ten title, then that's just pathetic. It still means something. It still stands for pride. And what I saw was a team with no pride and no passion last night. Now, in saying that, let me say this. The defense, phenomenal. The defense played a championship level defense. Now, did they make mistakes? Sure. But they were able to overcome most of those mistakes. They gave up 13 points to the highest powered scoring offense in the country. They should have won that game. This offense let them down. And I don't want to hear excuses about Brian Hartline. I don't want to hear excuses about this, that, or the other. This was a team that thought they had finished their season at Ann Arbor last week, that was content with what happened at Ann Arbor, and they absolutely blew off this game. And there's no excuse for it. And that is not just a player issue. That is not just a coach issue. That leads to a culture issue, which is something we have praised Ohio State for, is their culture. But to not treat this game with the respect it deserved is a culture issue. That's where I'm at with it.
Alex.
I'd first like to welcome back the old Ryan Day. Hello, darkness, my old friend. Boy, we've been praising the guy ever since that loss to a team up north in Columbus last year, because he's been a whole different guy, a whole different look in his eye. Where'd you go? Where'd you go, man? I guess old Ryan Day can still rear his ugly head. And I think the most infuriating part isn't the loss, even though I'll get into that. It's the fact that we continue once again to make the same mistakes that lead to losses. And I've been on this show many a times now and given Ryan Day his flowers when I've seen him finally learn from a mistake and have the balls to make a change when need be, like with the running backs this year. He was like, well, James Peoples and CJ Donaldson aren't cutting it. I got this guy named Bo Jackson, this guy named Isaiah West. They're doing better. Made the swap. Fruits of the labor came pretty good on that, right? Well, gosh, you had plenty of tape on Tegra all year on how bad he was, but you kept going with him, just kept giving him that spirit like, you'll get better, you'll do this. Well, took you a little too long last night to make that change. Because once you made that change, all of a sudden, everything got a little bit better. We started putting some drives together. Shocker. That's been on tape before. And boy, I was reminded today that one Jaden Fielding missed a field goal against Missouri in that Cotton Bowl a few years ago. I totally had forgotten about that. I can't forget about the team up north game last year. It's burned into my brain for the rest of my days. And we keep trotting him out, and we just got a guy from Ball State who, pretty good kicker. We didn't even give him a try. There was just so much wrong about this. And, and now I got to see these 15-0 oh, team up north, we're the only ones to do it. Ohio State can never be like us. I wanted 16-0 so bad for so many reasons, that being the main one, because I just wanted to shove it in their faces. And Ryan Day, once again, he just takes it away. He giveth and then he taketh away. And just like last year, I was happy to win a national championship, but there was still something that stung about it at the end of the day because we were this close to winning both of those games that we lost. And now, if we go 15-1, yeah, we're back to back national champions. I'll be happy about it, but I'll be like, we were that close to 16-0. I want to be the first so bad. I just want to. Hell, I'll even take first in the Big Ten at this rate. As long as we do it at some point, I don't think it's going to happen next year with that schedule. It was right there. I would have almost rather have lost to Texas game one, won the rest of the way, and had just instead of being right there, like close to the end of the season, having it right in the palm of your hand and having it snatched away like that. We had every opportunity to win this game by double digits. Every opportunity. And Carnell Tate gets one pass thrown his way this whole second half. One. We keep putting tight end. We keep putting a 4th Street tight end that Zach Smith has been saying shouldn't be playing at all at Ohio State because he's not that good. Bennett Christensen. The definition of insanity is making the same mistakes over and over and over again, expecting a different result. At some point, Ryan Day, you got to fix all these mistakes you keep constantly making. And I hope he got enough NIL money for a kicker. That's all I got to say.
Mika.
I think that we went out there and thought that, at least on offense, I think Ryan Day thought that we could roll our helmets out there and put forth bare minimum effort and come back with a win. Now, our defense, like you guys said, was fired up. The first play, I thought, with the Curry hit, I thought, oh yeah, it's on now. And then offense just proceeded to, crap the bed for the defense. And I felt bad for Curry and all the guys that were giving it their best to keep us in that game, because our offense, more importantly, our offensive line was giving them nothing to lean on. Football is the ultimate team game. You need every aspect of the game to be successful, and when one just isn't holding up the end of the deal, it can go lopsided, and that's what we saw last night. And one thing I want to point out is I went back and we watched the game twice now, and as painful as it was, I do see some things that I hope we utilize more. And Brandon Ennis gets open once or twice, and I mean wide open once or twice every game, and Saiyan just doesn't see him. I don't know what he has to do. I don't know what Ryan has to do to get him to look his way, but I've rewatched every game this season multiple times, and there are multiple instances where Ennis gets wide open and Julian just does not see him. And that needs to change because we need to utilize all our weapons. I get that we have Carnell and JJ and the tight ends are doing great and stuff, but slot receiver just gives us another thing that we need to utilize.
This game was frustrating on so many levels, but I'm going to avoid all of that, and I'm going to speak to the insane amount of debate and arguing in this fan base about who the hell was calling the plays. I'm sick of it. We have been telling you from day one, Brian Hartline is the play caller. Here's what people don't understand. People think he's up there in a booth with sheets in his hand, just making up all these insane plays that you run this route, you run that route, you run that route, and there's the play call, and he gives it down there. The offensive game plan is made days in advance. It's actually over the weekend. It's not just Brian Hartline who's coming up with the offensive game plan. It's not just Ryan Day. It's the entire offensive staff. So, like, for instance, when we took Jeremiah Smith and Carnell Tate off the field, was it on 4th down, I think it was?
Yeah, stupidest thing I've ever seen.
And we put in 4 tight ends. That decision was not Brian Hartline up in the box making that decision. That decision was made days ago in the offensive, I guess, meeting room on what to do in situations. Okay? So the blame goes everybody. And Ryan Day's the head man, right? And so he gets the initial portion of that blame. I think they got, after seeing what happened in Ann Arbor a week ago, they thought they were going to be able to push that Indiana defense around.
Yep.
And they thought in that situation, we're going to give ourselves extra beef up front and they're not going to be able to stop us. And we were wrong. We were wrong. Indiana was ready for the task. But at the end of the day, guys, it is not Ryan Day down there on his headset with his play call sheet calling the plays every single play. That is not what is going on. It is not. And all year long we've been hearing this. Oh, that was a bad game. Ryan Day must have called plays again. That's not what was happening. The failure happened in misreading your opponent days ago. That's the failure here. And having, I think, a little bit too much of a, well, look what we did to Michigan, we're going to do that to Indiana, and not saying, you know what, let's dive into this a little bit deeper. Where can we exploit them at? And not just saying, well, here's our strength now. So that's my 2 cents on that. But it was confirmed today, by the way. Shout out to Doug LeMaurice again, right? And Bill Landis. Bill Landis directly asked Ryan Day the question, who called plays yesterday and who's going to call plays on December 31st? Shout out Bill Landis for actually asking the question. And the answer was given. And the answer is Brian Hartline for both. There you go.
Hartline looked pretty happy today down in Tampa.
Yeah, he did. He did.
And there is rumor, Eric, that he may not come back from Tampa.
He's not coming back this week. He's down there the whole week, which means when they start to implement some of the game plan again, he's not going to be there for that.
Which means he should not be the man with the sheet in his hand. This
is discombobulated right now. And if you want to criticize Ryan Day for anything, I think you can criticize Ryan Day for maybe possibly, hindsight being 20/20, we can look back at it when the season's completely done, mismanaging this, possibly.
Absolutely.
And mind you, this is the first time Ohio State is starting out a playoff run here with 2 potential opponents in front of them.
Correct.
So they're going to have to try to start prepping for 2 different teams.
Yeah, 2 different defenses.
Twice as hard.
And listen, I'm not concerned about the defense being ready for 2 different teams. Matt Patricia will have them ready. He'll have them ready. But the offense, that was a systematic failure on every front Saturday night. And I'm not going to make excuses, Chris. I don't want to get you mad. I'm not going to make excuses. I'm just telling you that from top to bottom, blame can go everywhere, including the players.
Absolutely.
Coaching staff, head coach. Everywhere on that side of the ball, they failed in that game. But we got our answer today. So if people are still arguing about this tomorrow, they're ignorant or they're believing lies from certain people in the media who are feeding them those lies to fit some kind of narrative that they want right now.
Or
Because
there's
Ryan
another
Day,
option, Eric, and that's that Ryan Day is not telling us the truth.
there ain't no way he stood behind that pulpit and lied about that.
There's he has
No way.
he has no reason to lie about that. Like, why? I mean, like, why would you? You're
Not
the
about. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Mika.
you're the head coach. If you're the one calling the plays, why not just say, "Oh yeah, it was me, my fault, my bad."
I'm not talking about who was calling the plays yesterday. I'm talking about who's calling the plays come the 30th.
Yeah, it could change. It could change.
It
I mean,
probably
maybe
will.
the plan is for him today, and then the plan changes. But that's where we're at. All right, moving on. Let's give this. Ooh, this is going to be tough. Buckle up, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to hand out letter grades. Mika's moan says it all. Offensive letter grade first. Let's get the worst one out of the way, Chris. We had 264 passing yards, 58 rushing yards for a total of 322 yards. 5.8 yards per play, 17 first downs. We were 4 of 12 on third down, 0 of 1 on fourth down. We did possess the ball for 30 minutes and 13 seconds. We had 1 turnover. Circle your third down efficiency. That's the worst we've been this year. You can circle that. And even though we ran the ball, I think better. Apparently, we got sacked so many times that really hurt our total rushing yards. But yeah, the offensive line play, the sacks. Yeah. Anyways, Chris, your offensive letter grade.
D. I think that this team was absolutely awful on offense. There was no rhythm. There was no continuity. The offensive line, with the exception of Austin, was absolutely, well, I would say almost Luke as well. Neither the left side was okay. Austin was exceptional. From Carson over, everybody was beat multiple times. And it was one-on-one blocking. There's absolutely no excuse for that. Offensive line terrible. Game planning terrible. Bo Jackson looked good. Julian looked like a guy who the moment was too big. Maybe it was the Heisman pressure. I don't know. He still had solid stats, but it was not good. Bad interception. I can't give him anything better than a D.
Alex.
Yeah. I wish I could like take Jeremiah and Carnell out of this because they were just victims of this whole thing. But I give it a D plus, and that's being very generous. Just when I see things like James Peoples coming in on a key down to block and he just gets absolutely ran over. When I see things like taking Carnell Tate out of the game, Jeremiah Smith out of the game on crucial downs, putting in up to our 4-string tight end who shouldn't even be taking any reps away from anybody else. When I see stuff like the last play of the game where Jeremiah Smith catches a Hail Mary pass with like 5 or 6 dudes on him, and I'm like, see, I told y'all we could throw it up to him and he'll probably catch it with like 3-4 guys on him. He just did it with like 5 or 6. Stuff like that. I'm just like, when all else fails, throw it to 4, right? We finally figured that out against Notre Dame last year in the second half, where that was his only catch in the second half. We keep making these same mistakes of like, hey, oh yeah, we got this player we could use. Let's like try to scheme him open or something. We just can't. We just keep making these same mistakes. I give it a D plus, but that's being very, very nice about it.
Mika.
D minus. Just the red zone offense just irritates the living snot out of me. That cannot happen. You cannot do that. You can't make stupid decisions like that on a stage that big.
Turning it over to the defensive side of the ball, we allowed 222 passing yards, 118 rushing yards for a total of 340 yards. Indiana got 6.0 yards per play. We gave up 17 first downs. Indiana was 6 of 13 on third down and 1 of 1 on fourth down. They possessed the ball for 29 minutes and 47 seconds. They did create one turnover. Your defensive letter grade, Chris.
I'm going to go with an A for the defense. I can't quite go A plus, but I am going to go with an A. They kept, like I said, they kept the highest scoring offense in the country to 13 points. They contained the Heisman Trophy winner, and I think we can all agree he's going to be the Heisman Trophy winner, to under 250 yards and picked him off. Yes, we gave up 118 yards, but think about this, guys. 2 of those came on 47 yards that came on 2 plays, which means they actually on what is that roughly to do the math? 80 yards on 32 plays. Other than that, that's solid, man. That's solid. Uh, I feel like this defense was robbed of an opportunity. This defense they stole it. The offense took it away from them. So I'm going to give the defense an A because I thought they did a hell of a job.
King Buckeye, your defensive letter grade.
As much as I want to give them an A, I can't, because they let a wide receiver who had like a few hundred yards coming in this
less
game,
than 400 yards. He had 380 yards.
Only had played in 4 games prior to this all year. They let that guy torch us. Like, Jermaine Matthews, he's one of the most vocal on the team. Has a lot of antics, has a lot of confidence, if you want to put it that way. I hope he's looking in the mirror today, very humbled, and uses this as a way to get way better, because he got cooked by their wide receiver 3, who by any stretch wouldn't be even close to a wide receiver 3 on any other team, and he got cooked a lot. All he had to do was knock that ball away, boys, and we're talking about a whole different result, because they don't score a touchdown. I got to give them a B, and I wish I could give them a higher grade than that. They did hold this team to 13 points. Guys like Caden Curry don't deserve a B, but as a unit, there was just too many times. It's not totally their fault either. There was a lot of holding going on. As we know, there's a lot of video evidence of some egregious, but we never get those calls, and we can't rely on those. So it sucks, but I hope that defensive unit really locks in now, because they might need to if the offense is going to be like that.
Mika.
A minus. Just like what he said about Jermaine and stuff, you cannot get cooked like that. And I was calling it as I was watching. I'm like, he's going to let him get behind him. And my dad was like, no, he won't. No, he won't. And I'm like, you watch. I could see it happening before it happened. And I didn't want to, because if you go back and look at Buckeye Ladies episode that we just did, I thought Jermaine was going to be the player of the game, because he's had a very quiet you by his standards, and I thought he would come out and be, old Jermaine again, and he just wasn't. And there were just too many times where we gave up big plays, and it just shouldn't happen. And it's frustrating because I think guys like Jermaine got all the talent in the world, and for some reason, this year has just not been what I thought it would be. And I'm sure it's not what he thought it would be either. And like Alex said, he better be looking in the mirror because there's, I think there's a lot of talent behind him. And if he don't get it sorted out, I would give someone else a shot. I don't know what's going on with uh, Aaron Scott at all, but I don't know why we haven't seen him at all this year. That's concerning to me.
He's been in trash duty late in games. But yeah. All right. So those are your letter grades for the offense and defense. Thank you to Chris, Alex, and Mika for contributing. Let's try to hand out some Buckeye Leafs. Are you ready there, Santa Buckeye?
Before we do, just give me 1 second to vent about something I just saw in the chat.
Oh, okay.
I saw an accusation that someone got paid.
You mean the refs?
I've seen accusations of cheating in the chats on our YouTube videos today. Guys, there was no cheating. The refs were not paid. These guys are not Michigan. The fact is, we got our tails kicked.
Agreed.
This is not on the refs. This is not on Indiana for so-called cheating. This was Ohio State got their tails kicked because they weren't prepared, they weren't focused, and they weren't hungry. So stop blaming Indiana. You know what? As arrogant as their fans are, and believe me, they are arrogant. They are worse than Michigan fans. But for the love of God, stop crying about it and just own the fact that we did not play up to expectation.
And I'll add to that. I've seen a lot of Buckeye Nation say, well, you know, they needed this loss. I'm tired of that crap too.
I'm so tired of that argument. I can't even tell you.
Why do we need to lose to get our minds right? Why can't we be watching this film, seeing the glaring issues anybody and their grandmas spoke about all year, and getting better from that so we can keep winning? Which we were doing until, like Ryan Day, paraphrasing what he said, it's like all those things that got covered up got exposed. So even he knows, maybe I shouldn't have kept Tager in. Maybe when I took him out the one time and put Van Sickle in or Padilla in and it was going a lot better, maybe I should have just used that as my, okay, he's the backup now. Let's use Van Sickle. Or maybe when Jaden Fielding, I forget which game it was, missed a couple field goals earlier in the year and should have given him PTSD from the games that guy alone has cost Ryan Day in the last couple of years. Maybe he should have been like, I did go and get a kicker from Ball State that I saw can make a 50-yarder. Jaden Fielding somehow thinks, I'm comfortable from inside 60. Can't even make a 27-yarder half the time, but whatever. It's just, I'm tired of this whole narrative of, Ohio State needed this loss. This will redirect them. We don't need to lose to learn lessons. You can learn lessons from wins.
Exactly.
Even if it's a blowout. You can learn lessons every game. Stop needing to lose.
Yeah. It's a coping mechanism, Alex.
It is
that fans use. Yeah. I remember when I was in high school, man. And I still think they do this in the NFL on Monday mornings when they come in and they have the film cut up. And if you get embarrassed, they highlight it in front of everybody.
Yeah.
They should do that.
Yeah. I know they do that in the NFL. I don't know if Ohio State does that or not, but you can still learn from film in wins. It doesn't take a loss to highlight and go, maybe Tager Shabola should not be our right tackle or right guard at this point.
And a lot of the fan base did this last year, saying, the team up north game doesn't matter. It's not important anymore. I hate that too. Like, it's always important. It's, in my opinion, it's more important than it's ever been because of what's happened. Like, just
But
drives me nuts.
and Alex, I'll clarify this. In the grand scheme of things, it's not required to win that game anymore.
I get it.
But I'm with you. That game, just like the Big Ten game, is important because of pride.
Yep.
Have some respect for yourselves.
Yes.
And stop trying to diminish the most important rivalry in the sport.
Jar, it's a great question, bud. I'm not saying we needed the loss, but what I will say is, when was the letdown going to happen? Was Ohio State due for one? Legitimate question. I think that is an absolute legitimate question. Listen, Ohio State was not going to go 1,000-0 in the next 1,000 games.
Correct.
That's okay. What stings about this is three things. One, it was a big game. It was the Big Ten championship game. It was a hardware game. Two, it's a team you've dominated 29 straight games in a row.
30.
Well, 29.
One of them didn't count.
Yeah, one of them was Tressel.
Stop.
Three, in the middle of the week, you had the most Buckeye of all Buckeye coaches leave. And that moment in time on Wednesday, none of us were talking about Indiana that day. None of us were talking about Indiana on, Friday, when Chris Henry Jr. recommitted. None of us were talking. And then maybe in the back of our heads, we were saying, it's Indiana. Well, guess what? It's not Indiana anymore. That's Curt Cignetti's Indiana. Completely different animal, guys. I'll say this. If you haven't Googled Curt Cignetti, you better. He's a top 5 coach in college football, and there's an argument now he's top 3. Nobody in college football ever has done what Curt Cignetti has done in the last 2 years, taking an absolute bottom dweller of a program and taking him to the top of college football and the number 1 ranking in college football and a conference championship in 2 years. Name me one coach who's done that to a bottom dwelling program.
Okay, Eric, but I'm going to push back on it and say, show me another coach that had the opportunity other than the last 2 years with the portal.
Yeah, well then why hasn't anybody else done it?
Nick Saban could have done it.
The last 2 years, why hasn't anybody else done it?
That's true.
Well, I'm not saying he hasn't done it the last 2 years, but what I'm saying is, don't make it sound like it's the greatest accomplishment in all of college football.
It is one of the greatest accomplishments
in all of college football. He has the tools at his disposal that people did not have in the past.
Here's the thing, though. He's completely ruined this for any other coach. Every other university now is going to look at every other coach and say, well, we have better NIL than Indiana probably, or at least close to it. We have resources that they don't have. Why can't you get it turned around in 1 year?
Yeah.
Why can't you get
there you go, Bart.
Because he is an absolute all-star at seeing talent and developing talent.
He's really good.
That is his forte. Anybody who knows him, who's worked with him, will tell you that man knows how to recognize talent and develop it. That's why he can take 2- and 3-star kids and go out there and beat an entire roster full of all-stars. Because he took it serious. He game planned. He used all the advantages he had. He said, there's a weakness. Here's how I can exploit it. There's a weakness. Here's how I can exploit it. And our coaching staff was, we need to worry about ourselves right now. We just need to get better. We need to work on us. And they forgot about a team over there whose eyes are on you for an entire, who knows how long they've been studying Ohio State, right?
Probably a while.
So I'm just telling you all, Cignetti's the real deal now. And if you don't think he is, I think Indiana's here to stay.
He's a Saban disciple.
Cignetti is a good coach. I'm not disputing that. But I'm going to go with Bart's opinion here. Show me that he's sustained this over 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
I think he will.
He's never had a losing season, Chris. Ever.
I don't think he can sustain this pace over the next 6, 7 years.
He doesn't have to sustain this pace. All he's got to do is win 9, 10 games every single year, and Indiana's calling him their Lord and Savior.
Here's the thing.
Indiana's calling them their savior. You go to programs like Alabama or Ohio State and you win 9 or 10 games, we're going to throw you out the door.
Here's the thing, though, Chris. It's so important that he's done what he's done in the first 2 years, because that's going to get recruits to be like,
Yeah,
That's
that's
correct.
what I was.
I agree with that.
Bloomington,
And-
Indiana, never thought of that place before. That place could probably get me to the, if he starts
Yep.
getting guys into the NFL too, all of a sudden that building block's put in. And then all of a sudden he goes to the transfer portal less and less because he starts building things how he wants it. And then he just, if he keeps going at this pace, that sustained success will be real easy because he learned from the GOAT. He learned
that's-
from the GOAT.
Bart, 9 or 10 wins at Indiana does make you a great coach.
It does. It makes you God there. He's got a statue already if he wants it.
Yeah, exactly. Mika, last comment, and then we need to move on.
And that's exactly what I was gonna say. The more he wins now, the more it's gonna help him win in the future because he's gonna draw more recruits, and there's more talent coming out of Indiana now than ever the last few years. They got Monchon Sales, I think he's like the number 2 wide receiver in this next class. He's a great kid, and he posted eyeballs looking at the Indiana game. I guarantee you he's considering the now if he wasn't before, and that recruiting is still going to be the lifeblood of college football. And I know I'm coming at this from maybe a biased perspective because you all know how I love recruiting, but yeah, it's only going to he's only going to attract more and more talent the more success he has.
All right, letter grades. Let's go. We're running late.
We already did letter grades.
Sorry,
Offense.
Buckeye Leafs. Your offensive player of the game. Just give it to me.
It's got to be Bo Jackson.
All right, Alex.
Jeremiah Smith, unequivocally.
Okay, Mika.
Well,
Bo, it is. Your defensive player of the game, Chris.
Oh, Caden Curry. He was a monster.
Caden Curry.
Okay.
absolutely Curry.
Well, you guys made that one easy. Cut and paste.
Yep.
All right, your offensive play of the game. Oh, this is going to be a tough one.
Ugh.
Tate's touchdown. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just going to go with Cardinal Tate's touchdown.
All right.
Jeremiah Smith's catch with 5 to 6 guys on him for a Hail Mary. Throw it to 4. Win the game. Throw it to 4. Don't overthink it.
I have to agree with Alex because that was just spectacular, and we should have targeted him more.
Blows my mind.
Defensive player hit of the game, Chris.
Iggy's interception.
Okay.
Caden Curry's absolute monstrosity hit on Fernando Mendoza at the beginning.
That was a good one.
Licked that guy. I thought we won it right there. I said, "Oh,
I
he's
did
out."
too.
He was
did
faking
too.
it. He was faking it.
Yeah. He
I-
sold it.
I agree with Alex on that. The Curry play.
Caden Curry had a nice day. 5 Buckeye leaves there for the young man.
I'm gonna miss him.
Caden Curry just literally took the lead in this for the season with that.
He's my favorite Buckeye on this team this year.
So much, man.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and take a quick commercial break. When we come back, I have a letter written to me from one of you all that he wrote today after last night, and he wanted me to share this with all of you, but he wants to stay anonymous. And so I'll read you guys this letter, and then we have 3 topics that we're going to dive into that no doubt are going to Chris and I on one of these are going to go to blows, and I can't wait for it. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, this will be fun.
Here we go. We'll be back in just a minute. We have new merch just in time for the most wonderful time of the year. Get your OHIO podcast t-shirts, hoodies, and hats, and more thanks to our partnership with King Kong Bart and his printing company in Bucyrus, Ohio. That's right. You can now rest assured that when you purchase merchandise from the OHIO podcast, it is being printed and shipped right here from the Buckeye State. And even better than that, you can financially support your favorite hosts. For instance, if you want to support Mika, you can do so by purchasing her Illuminati merch. 50% of all profits will be shared with each host upon payments. Get your new OHIO pod merch by clicking on the link below this video, the link provided on our YouTube channel, or by visiting our website at theohiopodcast.com. Just click on the store link and it'll take you straight to our new online store. So what are you waiting on? Help support your favorite Ohio State podcast, your favorite hosts, and share your Buckeye pride all year round. OH! All right. So I have this written on my phone. I'm going to go ahead and read it to all of you. He wanted to stay anonymous, but I really, really appreciate what he's doing.
No, you're getting residual feedback, Alex.
Are we good now, Alex? Okay. All right. Sorry about that, everybody. All right. Here, we'll jump back in here. So this was sent to me from one of you all, one of our very loyal listeners. And when I say loyal, I mean as loyal as they come. And I'm just going to read it to you. As angry as I was, and still am, about that horrific display last night, this is the time of year to consider how blessed I still am. I have a family that loves me. I have friends who care about me. I have food in my refrigerator, and I have a roof over my head. Even though we lost my mother this year, she was able to see Ohio State win the Natty. She was a fan her whole life. She was a baton twirler when she went to Ohio State and was on the field with the band. I remember back when they had baton twirlers in the band. You guys remember that?
Yep.
If we couldn't get tickets, we always tried to at least go to the skull session. She loved it so much when we went to sell her car, the CD that was in the car player was Buckeye Battle Cry, a fan to the end. She started my love for OSU sports. She fanned that flame, and it was something we bonded over and cheered together. It is with that family love of OSU and in the spirit of paying forward that I want to do the following. I am giving you, the OHIO podcast, $60 so that you can gift someone a year's membership on Patreon. I believe in what you are doing at the OHIO podcast, Eric. I see the hard work and passion you and Chris and everyone else gives to this, and I want it to succeed. Every year, for as long as I'm able, I will give $60 so that someone who might not have the means can enjoy everything you all do. I am blessed to have found this podcast. I am blessed to live in this city. I am blessed to be a Buckeye. I hope everyone here has a wonderful, amazing end of the year. Great things are to come. I just wanted to read that to everybody and share that. And this guy knows who he is. He never misses an episode. I appreciate you more than you know, my friend. You have been loyal from day one, and that gift blesses my heart. And so, Chris, we have to find somebody who doesn't have the means to be a part of our Patreon, and he wants us to gift them that membership. So that's what we need to do. So we have been tasked by him to pay it forward. So, and by the way, everybody, you can gift someone a year's worth of a membership over at Patreon right now. If you go to Patreon, there's a place for you to sign up somebody, and you can purchase it for them and just put their email in, and it sends them an invitation to accept that membership So if you are interested in buying someone a Christmas gift this year as a membership to our Patreon, that is available. We would be happy to do that for you. And the link is right below us. It's just, I think it's the second Patreon link that we have. Just click on that. It goes directly there, and you can purchase your loved one, maybe your dad or your uncle. You're like, man, I never know what to get my dad, but he's a Buckeye
Maybe
fan.
your
That's a
mom.
perfect, or your mom.
Give some love to the ladies too, Eric. We
Yeah.
like football too.
Actually, we have a really, really good group of ladies over there on Patreon. They know their ball. They are really awesome to work with, and they are great. So Mika and TG, they kind of spur that on, don't they? I still think they're the only true Ohio State duo doing a podcast. I know there's one other one, but she's kind of with someone else who I don't really know if she's a Buckeye fan or not. These two are the only two female Buckeye fans I know doing a podcast that I'm aware of. So, shout out to Mika and TG.
We're trendsetters.
Yeah, you are. Well, that's what we do at the OHO podcast, Mika.
We set trends, and then somebody else steals them.
That's what we do. Been doing it since 2019, baby. All right, guys, this is going to be interesting. Chat, get ready. Here we go. All right. So I mentioned Ryan Day and Brian Hartline earlier. Let's go back to that well. Again, confirm Brian Hartline was calling plays. Confirm Brian Hartline will continue to call plays. At least that is the plan. Your thoughts on this and whether you like it or not. Let's just open it up, Chris.
I don't like it. I don't like it at all. And no disrespect to Brian Hartline. I appreciate everything he's done at Ohio State. But the fact is, if your focus can't be 100% on the task at hand, then you need to step away. It's the right thing to do for the team, and it's the right thing to do for yourself. If you are focused, and you should be because we've got the portal window opening soon. Obviously, you're in the midst of still doing some recruiting right now. If your focus needs to be in South Florida, and it should be, then you should step away and take care of what you got to and allow us to bring someone in to fill that spot without feeling like we're pushing you out. Because I don't believe Brian Hartline deserves to be pushed out. I've got a lot of respect for Brian Hartline. He has done so many great things, brought so many great recruits to this program, ran the best wide receiver room in the business. But if you're moving on, and this is where I actually think Ole Miss got it right by telling Lane to take a hike. Now, Brian isn't out there trying to steal our coaches and our, well, maybe. Isn't trying to steal our coaches and our, but you know what? His focus can't be 100% here. And I respect that. But Brian, respect the program you came from and just say, I can't give you 100% of my focus, 100% of my attention, 100% of my love. It's time for me to step away and let you get somebody in here who can help you finish the task at hand.
So, Chris, I think we have our answer. The gifted membership for Patreon should go to Roy.
I love it.
I wish I could join, but I have been hit hard with medical bills. Getting over cancer. He fought cancer this year. Hopefully, I'll be able to join sometime next year. How about you join this year?
Yep, give it to him.
Roy,
Just
Chris,
in time for the back-to-back run.
There you go. Chris and I know Roy personally. He is a great Buckeye.
Guy.
We went to the celebration last year with Roy. All the three of us went together. Roy, go ahead and email me. If you don't have my email, instant message me on Facebook or whatever. Your email. I think I have your email, actually. I think I do. And we'll get that over to you. So I think that makes perfect sense. You agree, Chris?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, 100%. Roy is a great supporter of the show and definitely someone more than deserving. shows up to all of our live events. So
Absolutely.
Yeah. Let me answer a couple questions. Coconut agrees with you, Chris. You actually have a couple people who agree with you. Nick agrees with you. Bart agrees with you. When Bart agrees with you, Chris, that scares me a little bit.
Bart and I have been agreeing a lot lately, and I
Yeah,
think that's bad for you.
it is very bad for me. TG agrees with you, Chris. Don wants to know, will Corey be back with the guys next week? Hopefully he finished his trip from Florida here to Ohio. He's moving to Ohio, and he got here yesterday, or was it?
No, he was getting in today
He was
because
getting
he
into
was
he
still in
got
West
yeah.
Virginia yesterday.
Right. He got here today and posted a picture of snow on the ground. And I think it was kind of like, we ain't in Florida no more, brah. All right. Alex, you're up on this topic, brother.
I love Brian Hartline. What he has done since being promoted is one of the craziest, most unprecedented things an assistant coach has ever done. He had like minimal coaching experience when he was thrusted into that position after the firing of Zach Smith, and he took it by the reins and elevated it to a place no one ever thought. And I've said this to people. I said Brian Hartline's the type of Buckeye, and obviously he's an alum. He's a Buckeye forever. He's the type of guy who down at South Florida, I guarantee when he goes to South Florida Express and is like looking at guys and seeing if he can get any of them to come to USF, if he knows that there is some players down there that are just way too good for South Florida, he's the type of guy I bet that'll say, "Go to Ohio State,
Ooh, you're hitting on something I know.
go." And I guarantee, and that Chris Henry thing just shows it to me too. He was still recruiting him to Ohio State and saying, like, you got to go here. Just because I'm not there, it's going to still go. They're going to hire somebody that's going to develop you just as well as I could, this and that. And he's just that type of guy to me. He's Buckeye through and through. And I think one day he will be back at Ohio State in some capacity. Remains to be seen what that'll be. But I do think yesterday, if he truly was the play caller, it shows the distraction is there. And I don't know if he is going to be able to separate that enough with the other duties that he has coming his way with being the head coach of South Florida now. We are allowed to hire like an offensive analyst and stuff like that. And they were rumoring maybe we could do that for Chip Kelly. Bring in Chip Kelly, have him help with this playoff run, just like he did last year. Chip Kelly was a great offensive coordinator last year outside of one game, which was, the obvious one, the Team Up North game. And our offense was very explosive last year with him as OC. It seems just pretty clear cut to me to bring him back in some capacity. I know a lot of people are talking about Brian Dable. I'm like, I don't know, it just doesn't really hit for me. I saw one guy win us a national championship. So even though we made similar mistakes last year and not getting our playmakers the ball with him as OC, but all in all, I agree. I think maybe Brian Hartline should take a look at what happened in this game and really make a decision. Are you going to lock in for these next 3 games and give your full focus to us, or are you going to split your time? And maybe at that point you should just stay in Tampa.
Let me read this comment from J Carb. I've got nothing but respect for everything Heartline has done, but like I said on your podcast earlier this week, it's fair to wonder if he's still fully locked in now that the USF situation is on his plate. What do you guys think? Should this be a concern? It absolutely should be a concern. And I don't think a human being, if they're being honest with you, can admit that they're 100% locked in trying to do 2 jobs like that. I will be the first person to admit, and I had this conversation with my employer before I left my former employee place of employment. I was doing 2 jobs. I was doing this job at an almost full-time basis, and I was doing my full-time job. And my work suffered because I was doing 2 full-time jobs. And that's not fair to my employer to give a half butt effort when I'm being paid to do that job. So you kind of have to make a decision. Ryan Day is weighing up the costs right now, and I think in his mind of is it worth is Brian Hartline so good right now and so needed in this offense of me getting a 50% Brian Hartline, or should I cut ties and just do it myself? I think that's the question that's being worked on in his head. And when the question was asked today, I think right now he was saying, I need Brian Hartline. Something to think about. Mika.
I think that the fact that we still held on to Chris Henry speaks volumes to Brian, because I think he pushed for that, like Alex said, and but it's human nature that when you have too much on your plate, something's gotta something's gotta give, and I think something's giving for him right now. And I do think that we have a myriad of options, and Hartline himself, I think, needs to look in the mirror and say, am I doing what's best for Ohio State by sticking around? And if the answer is no, then he needs to go. And that's hard for me to say, because believe me, I'm such a fan of him. I was a fan of him as a player. I'm a fan of him as a coach. What he did to elevate that room is outstanding. The myriad of talent that he's helped develop and send to the NFL is miraculous. I've say it almost every podcast that I do. I think the NFL should be sending him thank you gifts on a weekly basis for what he produces for them. He is the best wide receiver coach and developer in in the NFL, and he coaches in college. Like, he's just outstanding. But if you can't give yourself fully to this program, he needs to look himself in the mirror and say, am I hurting the place that I love more by staying than I am if I just leave now? And if the answer is yes, he needs to go. And as much as it hurts me to say it, I think that's the decision that needs to be made.
Shout out ND Wine and Cheese if you're still here, if you haven't left yet, man. Dude, I was wrong. I was wrong. I was wrong. I owe all you Notre Dame fans an apology because I told you all you guys were a lock. I was wrong. I'm sorry. Um, okay. I hinted at it. There is a rumor that a part of this move to USF is basically a handshake between Ryan Day and Brian Hartline on two fronts. One, it gets you the experience you need to be a head coach. And then when Ryan Day exits stage left at some point, Brian Hartline hopefully will have those years of learning how to be a head coach already in the rearview mirror.
Without the pitfalls that Ryan Day went through.
Correct. The other aspect of this thing is that Brian Hartline has no he understands that USF is not Ohio State. It can be relatively, to a degree, a feeder program for Ohio State for the transfer portal.
Yep.
If a kid is not quite good enough for Ohio State, they're going to be suggested to go to USF to get developed. USF will be running a very similar program to Ohio State. Kid gets developed, becomes a stud, NIL will be waiting for him at Ohio State.
And I love that.
That is a rumor that's been floated around. I think it's got legs.
And like I said, I truly think Brian Hartline, when he goes and visits South Florida Express, and he knows that there are guys there that are not, they're too good to play at like South Florida, and they're good enough to play at Ohio State. He'll be like, "You need to go there." Point blank. I think he'll still recruit for us in some way because he's that
Yeah.
Buckeye coded.
Yeah,
Yep.
I think it's another reason why I think Ryan Day and Brian Hartline are Ryan Day is tangentially walking very carefully here with Brian because
He's
he knows they both know this is this could be big. It literally is kind of Ohio State. I don't want to say pulling a Michigan and cheating here because it's not cheating. It's playing by the rules. It's just being smarter than your opponents by us saying we're going to take a G5 school and we're going to basically use it as a minor league system for ourselves. And when these kids get here, maybe we get one or two kids every year from USF who are ready for the big leagues, and they come here, they already know the system.
Yep.
And it's in a really good spot.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You can throw a rock in South Florida and hit a decent football player. Like he has a lot to work with and enough connections that he can make South Florida into something. And I agree with you. He's going to still push kids to Ohio State if they're good enough to play for Ohio State. He's that much of a Buckeye. I 100% agree. He's gonna still help us out, and I love that.
With a program that's already successful, that has a foundation built by Alex Golsh, and hopefully he can find some good kickers down there to feed to us.
It's like having our own minor league team.
WBuck21, you guys weren't live yesterday. Actually, we were. Over on Patreon, we watch every game on Patreon together. It's only $5 a month, and you literally can watch the game on Patreon with us. It's like going to a bar and hanging out. Chris.
I understand what you're saying. I understand the benefits of it. It feels dirty. It feels like collusion. And it feels like something that if the NCAA doesn't have a rule for now, they will have one for
the NCAA doesn't have rules, Chris.
I'm just telling you, it feels like if that's the case, if you're using two universities working as one.
Why? But if USF agrees to it, they don't care. They're like,
I understand.
We're feeding them kids too, Chris.
I get that.
It's outflexing the henhouse.
It's borderline tampering, in my opinion.
It's outfoxing the henhouse, Grumpy Cat.
It's borderline tampering.
I could see that. But, I mean, hey.
It will be addressed if anyone gets an inkling that this is going on.
And Chris, let's think of it this way, though. How many of those kids from South Florida are actually going to come to Ohio State as opposed to the opposite? We'll probably be feeding him a lot more.
I think what we would do is we'll be feeding him kids who, instead of sitting on our bench for 2 years doing nothing, are down there playing and getting better. And then they come to Ohio State ready to play.
Tegra, you look good in green and gold, man.
I said it before the show started. I will happily pay his NIL to get him in the transfer portal.
Brian might take him with him.
Think about the Twins, right? How many snaps have those guys played in their first 2 years?
Yeah, they put themselves in the doghouse.
I know that, but you see my point, though, right? What if they're down there playing and now they're developed now?
And it took them a while to put weight on too, so.
It's just, and by the way, it's just a rumor. I have not had a conversation with Ryan Day or Brian Hartline about this. And trust me, Buck Vader's on the job with this one.
I like it. I really do. I don't have a single problem with it. It's like having our own minor league squad here. I will be rooting for the South Florida Bulls, like 100%.
Jar of happiness. We put that behind the paywall. I'm not allowed to say that in public.
Yeah.
All right. Moving on. Miami or A&M? Who do you want in round 2 and why, Chris?
You know what? I don't care. And because I think our defense is good enough to give problems to either of those teams. I fear A&M's defense a little more than I do Miami's, to be honest. I just think like they present more matchup issues for us. Although I would love the opportunity to break Miami again. You know, we broke them the last time we faced them in a playoff game or in a championship game, and it took them 20 years to recover. I wouldn't mind doing that again just to finish them off, but I don't care. I don't care. All I care about is Ohio State getting themselves right because, and this is my biggest concern, Eric, and this is something that I know is going to probably piss people off when I say it. Everybody wants to look at this and say the same thing happened last year. This is not the team from last year. Last year's team had senior leadership. They had grit. They just had something intangible about them, a mental toughness about them that I don't see with this year's team.
Can I ask a question, Chris, in lieu of that?
Yes.
Last year's team was player-led. Ryan Day said that multiple times.
Yes.
Do you think this year's team is not player-led?
I think it is definitely not player-led.
I still
Is it because Julian Sane is so young?
Partially, but you know what? That's not an excuse because you have other guys like Caleb Downs and Jeremiah Smith and Carson Hensman. And these guys have been here before and they've played on the biggest stage of all. And they played well on the biggest stage of all. And these guys could be those same vocal leaders. It doesn't have to be a quarterback who is your vocal leader.
So back to my original question, A&M or Miami, pick one.
Give me one. I'll take Miami just because I want a chance to break them again.
King Buckeye, A&M or Miami, and why?
There's reasons to want both of these teams if you're Ohio State. Miami, because their fans have literally been crying for 20 plus years about a flag that was properly called and not 30 seconds late. It was like 3 seconds after the play. Let's get it straight. And they just think, they're back all the time and that they got robbed against Ohio State. Well, if we can just play them and win by 30, that would be great, right? But I want Texas A&M. In the battle of the Notre Dame eliminators, I figured Chris will like that since those two teams were responsible for that. I want Texas A&M because it gives us another SEC team to play. The SEC got 5 teams in, and one of them, we'll get into it, shouldn't be in at all. But they get coddled too all the time, as we know. So if we can beat two SEC teams again on the way to another national championship, and if we can just get Indiana in that natty, that will soothe a lot of the anger from what happened yesterday. If we can get revenge on Georgia on the way, revenge on Indiana in the end of it, and beat another SEC team or two along the path there, I want A&M because of that. Because I think we can absolutely dog walk them if we play them. If we play them to our capabilities. If we show up with what we did last night, we are in for a rough one, no matter who we play. So if we can get locked in, play to our capabilities on both sides of the ball, I'm not concerned about A&M or Miami. I'm more concerned about Georgia because they're hitting their stride right now. But I would love A&M for that reason.
Mika, A&M or Miami, and why?
I'm not concerned about either one. I think we could handle either one. But I want Miami just because I hate, and I won't tell you what I call them because I can't say it on the show, but I hate the Hurricanes. I'll tell you what I call them after the show, but It's not show friendly, and I don't have any faith in Carson Beck at all. I think that will be fun to go get our defense after him because I don't think he has it. He's too up and down. I mean, neither team really scares me if we come out the way we normally do and don't come out like we did last game. I think we can easily take care of either team. I, I do think Texas A&M is the more likely team for us to go against, honestly. But I'm not scared of either one.
I went Notre Dame. Oh, wait.
I knew he was gonna do that.
I would have
We'll be-
wanted them too.
They aren't good
We'll-
enough to get there.
We'll be going around in a circle on that in just a minute.
Yeah,
So we have two for Miami, one for A&M, if I got that right. A part of me wants to beat A&M in Texas. To me, that would be very, very satisfying. We beat Texas in Texas last year. We beat Texas in week 1. If we beat A&M in the Cotton Bowl, and then there's not saying it's going to happen, but if we were to get to the championship game, there's an opportunity to possibly play Texas Tech. Would that mean we own the state of Texas?
We already do.
I knew you were going to go there.
We already do. In recruiting and on the field.
I'm with you. I love beating SEC teams.
I do.
Also, we are 4-0 lifetime against A&M. We've never lost to the Aggies.
Yeah.
And if there's a team that I think was really, really fraudulent this year that got way too much like press, I think it's A&M. I watched that game against South Carolina. They looked like dog doo-doo defensively. Now, they made a whale of a comeback, but that I think speaks more to the inconsistencies of that defense on South Carolina's side than it does to how good A&M is.
it does.
And I watched them against Notre Dame in week 3, and Notre Dame's defense was nowhere near as good as it is now, but A&M moved the ball on them, but Notre Dame moved the ball on them. I think Miami is better defensively than A&M is, and at this point, I need to go up against a team that's got a weaker defense to get my offense back in rhythm and confident again. Because if you're going to play Georgia in that third round, we're going to need everybody locked in. So I need a good win, a good solid win, and I think that can come against both teams. But I would rather come against A&M. But I'm looking at it from an offensive side of Ohio State versus a weaker defense is how I viewed that. A&M gets a home game in that one, right? If I remember correctly. So that one,
yeah.
So A&M gets a home game before the Cotton Bowl. So there you go.
And it's bad enough. It's bad enough for like the fact that one matchup's going to have 2 SEC teams to eliminate it, and then eventually, if Ole Miss wins, which they should, that Georgia's going to be able to eliminate another. I want to be responsible for eliminating 2 SEC teams.
That would be nice.
I want it so bad, just like last year I wanted it. I want it so bad. Give me that opportunity to just get them out of here.
Is this your burner account, Chris?
No, what's it say?
I was very upset last night and angry after the Big Ten Conference title game. But when I woke up this afternoon and found out that Notre Dame was out of the playoffs, I was so happy. It really cheered me up.
It is not my burner account, but I share the sentiment. Notre Dame, the gift that keeps on giving. And then they took their ball and went home because they didn't make the playoffs, so they went home and cried into their pillow.
I love you, man.
I just don't have any ill will towards Notre Dame. I just
love
don't.
you.
Yeah, here's the thing.
Here's
the thing, Alex. I don't have a lot of ill will towards Notre Dame. I just despise their coach.
Bitter Grumpy Cat is GOAT.
All right, so great question, Nick. Speaking of playoffs, what first round non-OSU game are you looking forward to watching? I'd say Indiana versus Oregon. That's a second round game.
Yeah.
let's do first round games because we don't really know what the second round games would be, and then we can project what second round game we would like to see. First round games though, you've got JMU against who was it? Oregon. JMU
yeah,
versus Oregon. Tulane versus Ole Miss.
Round 2.
You have Texas A&M versus Miami, and you have Oklahoma versus Alabama. Obviously, I would say A&M versus Miami. I think is the most interesting, but Alabama versus Oklahoma is a good one. But
we've seen it before.
Yeah, it's a repeat and wash. So give me A&M versus Miami.
And I'm the same one just because that's going to show us who Ohio State faces. The Oklahoma Bama is a good one. Like you said, we've seen it before. Tulane Ole Miss is one we've seen before. Does Tulane have the ability to kind of turn things around given that Lane Kiffin's gone? You know, that has some intrigue. I don't think there's going to be any intrigue in James Madison versus Oregon. I think that's going to be an ugly slapping. Yeah, I mean, to me, I think it's got to be A&M and Miami.
Three of those teams are without their head coach for this playoff. By the way,
I know, isn't that or they're coaching out the string.
They're coaching, but yeah, the distractions there because they're leaving.
Yeah.
Just wild to me. Yeah, it's easily Miami, Texas A&M. That's the one where we haven't seen it before. It's got a lot of intrigue to it. Carson Beck, he's familiar playing against the SEC, so we'll see how that fares with him. We'll see if Mario Cristobal has another choke in his Santa bag this year. So we'll see.
I agree. It's Texas A&M, Miami. Isn't the matchup with Oregon matchup with Indiana, Texas Tech not?
Yeah, Oregon would go up against Texas Tech in the second round. So projected second round that you would like to see. You more than likely it's going to be Oregon Tech. It's going to be Ole Miss, Georgia, Indiana. I think if you I was a betting man right now this very minute, I'm going to give the slight advantage to Oklahoma. I thought Alabama looked like dog crap yesterday. So Oklahoma versus Indiana. I guess advantage Hoosiers. And then what would the other one be? It'd be Ohio State versus Miami or A&M. Not Ohio. You can't pick Ohio State. Give me Oregon, Texas Tech. That sounds like a fun matchup, Chris.
Easy.
Yeah, easily that's the best one of the bunch. I mean, you're going to have two defenses absolutely flying around the field in that one. Yeah, that's going to be a great matchup.
Two just solid teams overall. That might end up being the game of the whole playoffs right there. That might be the one we look back at and say that was absolute cinema.
Agreed. Just the speed on both teams on both sides of the ball. I think it's going to be really fun to watch.
That could, and if Oregon wins and Indiana wins, that sets up a rematch.
Yep.
Which could be interesting.
Give us all the Big Ten teams possible towards the end.
It would be
absolutely
Ohio State, Georgia, Oregon, and Indiana.
Shut the SEC up.
It is imperative that the SEC does not win this playoff because Greg Sankey was all we should have 7 teams in. Well, you have 5, sir. You have more. You almost have half the field. If you can't win it with almost half the field, zip it forever.
Paul Feinbaum was having a field day too, and I just want to
Kirby crying.
I just want to throat punch that man.
Yeah, Kirby crying about now we're gonna have to play 9 conference games next season. And then this one's going to be a 10th. Just totally unfair. All our coaches don't like it. It's not really safe. Like, shut up.
You know what? Big Ten's been doing it for years.
Like, get over yourself, brother. Like,
if it wasn't for ESECPN over-ranking all their mid and lower level teams in the preseason, they wouldn't look half as good as they do now.
Exactly.
Preach it.
Preach, Grumpy Cat.
All right, things are going to get feisty. Here we go. I'm actually going to reverse course. I'm going to start with Mika first. I'm going to hold the grumpy cat, the wild man, for the end of this one because I have a feeling after this, Mika and Alex could probably just check out because Eric and Chris are going to come to blows on this one.
I'll be
Did
on your side, Eric.
did Notre Dame get screwed in the college football playoff today, Mika?
Yes, they did, but I understand why. Because they didn't. They Miami beat them, so I understand why they did. I don't agree with the decision made because I think if you take in the season collectively, I think Notre Dame has shown to have fixed a lot of the problems they had, and they Jeremiah Love was not healthy for that game, and it was CJ Collar's first really big time at the QB spot. So, and they have looked very good the rest of the season. But I understand why Miami got in and they didn't because head to head has to matter.
Alex.
1,000,000%. Yeah, they got screwed. The whole problem with this is this committee did exactly the same thing that they did in 2014 with Ohio State and TCU. They had a team ranked ahead the entire time and up until the last possible breath, and then all of a sudden they switched it. They should have just had Ohio State in the top 4 going into conference championship games and let them play their way in or out of it, and they would have avoided a lot of controversy that way. They should have had Miami ahead of them the entire time, or at least like weeks earlier. And they screwed around, gave Notre Dame hope, and then took it away from them in the last second. And this is something that I've been saying ever since we expanded this thing. Even before we expanded it, I said the group of 5 needs to be in their own division. They need to play for their own national championship where every one of those teams have a chance to get in a playoff instead of having 1, maybe 2 spots available for them. And let the now Power 4 be in their own division and play for the grand prize, the golden trophy that we all do. We're wasting spots on these teams that are 9 times out of 10 going to get mollywopped in the first round. This isn't March Madness. This is football. And unless Ole Miss misses Lane Kiffin that much, and unless, Oregon decides, well, maybe we just won't show up today. You might see an upset like that happen once every 25 years in this format. It's not going to happen. And I just think we're wasting time and wasting space on keeping the group of 5 in the same division as us. I think it's time to split it, reevaluate this format, and they're already talking about expanding it again, the 14. I say, screw it, just go to 16 at this point, and that's where it stays for the rest of eternity. No more expanding it after that. Get rid of the group of 5 so they don't hold up spots for a team like Notre Dame that should be in. They are one of the best 5 teams in the country right now, the way they're playing. They deserve to be in this playoff. And of course, we're coddling to Alabama once again, who really showed that they don't belong this time. But the committee says, well, we can't penalize them for having to play in a conference title game, but we could Wisconsin back in 2017. We could penalize them for having to play a 13th game and going 12-1, losing to Ohio State. We could punish them. And guess who got in that spot that year? Alabama. Guess who got in over an undefeated Florida State? Alabama. It's always Alabama getting coddled to, in the SEC in general, but mainly them. And I just find it hilarious that we keep coddling to this team, especially when they rushed for negative yards yesterday and have 3 losses, and 2 of them are really bad. So, just a waste of time.
Notre Dame needs to join a conference and quit Swallow the pride, join a conference, and problem solved.
Let's say they join the ACC. They're probably still out right now because the ACC is dog water.
Well, yeah, that's true.
They'd still be in the same spot because we're giving spots to a 3-loss Alabama who has no business being in this thing.
They still need to join a conference, though. I'm sick of it. It's ridiculous.
So two things, and before I release the beast, what's up, Martinez? Perfect timing, buddy. Perfect timing because we're talking about your team, my man. I gotta say this and get it off my chest, Chris, because I know you and I are gonna go to blows on this thing.
We need a bell.
You might. You as a committee cannot flip. I cannot believe the excuse they used for flipping this was we didn't compare Notre Dame and Miami until the last 24 hours. What have you been doing the last 3 weeks? And why did you have Notre Dame ahead of Miami then?
And you know that.
Hold on, Mika. 2 reasons why. 2 questions that need to be answered right there. Okay? Number 2. The reason why the committee has Alabama in here is because if they punished Alabama, who they had ahead of Notre Dame and Miami for losing that game against Georgia, they are setting the precedent for these conferences for teams to opt out of their conference championship games. And so they backed themselves in a corner by doing that. They made the mistake of putting Bama ahead of Notre Dame and Miami before the conference championship weekend, and then they got backed into a corner when they got mollywopped by Alabama. Number 3, politics play a huge part of this. No one will ever convince me otherwise. I watched more ESPN programming this weekend than I've watched all season. And by the way, it made me sick to my stomach. The amount of SEC bias they push that Kirk Herbstreit's literally on the telecast pleading to the committee to put Bama in while he's doing the Georgia-Alabama game. Despicable. Absolutely despicable.
And contradicting himself with BYU.
100%. And then finally, I'll say this. I think the committee looked at the fact when Duke beat Virginia and said, we need to have an ACC representative here. The ties to the conference is real, and I think the committee was sending a very important message to Notre Dame about how their views on their independence. And then Notre Dame sent a very strong message back to the committee and back to the NCAA by saying, here's your bowl game and shove it.
Good on them.
Interesting. Very, very interesting, the politics that are played out. Now, here we go. Martinez, you might want to mute this because here we go.
Ding, ding.
Chris, it's your turn.
What was the question?
What do you mean what is the question? The question was, did Notre Dame get screwed?
No. You don't want left out? Don't lose. Don't lose to Miami. Especially when the rest of your schedule has a sucky winning percentage. You look at Notre Dame, 2 losses, 1 quality win, and if you can call a win over number 16 USC quality, well, that's good on you. Notre Dame's schedule had a winning percentage of .524. How much of that was top-loaded with Miami and Texas A&M? Then you look at Miami's schedule. They own the head-to-head over Notre Dame. They have the same amount of losses. They had several common opponents, and the only one that Notre Dame really dog-walked versus Miami was Syracuse.
Well, what about Pitt?
Pitt, actually, Miami beat them by a bigger margin.
Did they?
Yes.
Yep.
And as for Alabama, Eric, I'm not going to disagree with what you said. This was a political move. I told you guys this was going to happen the week before when they jumped Alabama.
You actually did. Mm-hmm.
Yep.
They were setting this up because they knew they had come out and said for the last couple of years, we're not going to penalize you for playing a championship game. They knew if they did, they would go away. And Bobby Mack, I'll address that in a second. But they knew the championships games would go away if they did. And it's this simple. If you want to make the playoff, do one of two things. Either don't lose or join a conference and play in the championship game. That's it. It's that simple. This is on you, Notre Dame. This isn't on anybody else. The committee's not made sense since its inception, Eric, so I don't know why you think that it makes sense now.
Well, that's true. I think the committee is, they don't have enough football people. They have former commissioners. They have.
But you guys want eye test. And eye test doesn't mean crap when the quality of the opponent is crap.
Eye test doesn't mean crap, and when none of those people in that committee are probably watching more than like one game a week.
That as well. But I mean, if you look, and Bobby Mack talked about this, he said Notre Dame played 5 of their 6 opponents, whatever, had a 500 record. Overall, there was a .02 difference in the winning percentage of Miami's opponents and Notre Dame's opponents. .02. They had no difference basically in their schedule. And you know what? Miami beat a team that took down Alabama. They beat Florida State.
Oh, Chris, you cannot use Florida State as an example for your argument.
I can absolutely use anything that is relevant that the committee would look at.
That team.
I'm not saying it's right, but what I'm saying, they are trash. But what I am saying is if this is what the committee is looking at, you know what the committee is looking at, and if you don't address what the committee is looking at, it is on you. And then in the ultimate crybaby move, Notre Dame then takes their ball and goes home and says, we're done playing for the season.
No, listen.
That is brilliant.
I disagree with that big time.
Brilliant.
Go ahead, Alex. Tell me why you disagree.
It's brilliant because you're not giving ESPN the free marketing of having Notre Dame on their TV in a potential bowl game. And you're telling this committee, hey, well, you didn't want one of the biggest brands of college football to be in your playoff because your whole criteria is crap and your committee's full of people who don't know ball. Fine. We just won't play in your bowl games then. I feel bad for the players because maybe they wanted to play one more with their guys, but I'm sure all of them are like, well, we can just go focus on the draft. Like, screw this.
But who does that really hurt, Alex? Who loses the revenue in that? Is it really ESPN losing the revenue?
Notre Dame's got plenty.
No.
Yeah, I don't think Notre Dame's worried about the revenue.
Here's the thing, though. You are giving ESPN just as much press by pulling out. Because that's all that's going to be talked about between now and the end of bowl season.
But it's the press that sets the precedent moving forward, Chris, that you cannot you can't just pull the Bobby Mack made a great point. The college football playoff was 12 best teams was what they promoted for an entire year, and we got 7 of the 12.
Well, and you knew that at least one was not going to be one of the 12 best teams.
So Notre Dame is looking at this, and Notre Dame is actually making an argument for the Big 10, the Big 12, and the ACC. If you actually stop and think about this, they're saying you put 5 teams from the SEC in this thing, and you felt like you had to put one from the ACC in this. Like the whole argument of equality is going way too far in this thing, man. The G5 conferences.
I don't disagree with that.
We have to have 5 conference champions, and well, you know what? Sometimes conference champions suck. Hello, Duke.
Duke.
Yep.
Absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
So
here's what I think should
the committee's hands were tied a little bit, but the committee could have grown a set of balls and said, you know what? Alabama doesn't deserve to be in this thing.
But
they could have said that.
But why doesn't Alabama deserve to be in it?
3 losses. We got it. We can't be
5 ranked wins.
We can't be
5 ranked wins
against other ranked teams who are pushed up because they're in the SEC.
And I agree with that. I agree with that. But at the same time, Notre Dame, by the same token, really had no good wins because USC is trash.
But they also talk about who has the best losses, right?
But losses are losses.
I get it. But
no, nobody seems to get that. A loss is a loss. If you lose, you suck.
So Ohio State sucks right now.
Yes, last night they sucked.
They did. But here's the thing. I knew the second they lost to A&M, I said, boy, even if they went out, they might be screwed in the end and this is what's going to kill this sport now, right? Notre Dame's going to be like, well, we're definitely never scheduling Texas A&M again. Texas is already saying, well, we're just going to schedule FCS 1, 2, and 3, and then we'll play our 9 conference game schedule in the SEC so we can eliminate losses. I mean, this committee has really screwed this scene up over a now 11-year period to where now we're just going to start seeing less marquee matchups throughout the season. We're going to see a lot of cannon fodder teams get absolutely destroyed, unless you're like Arkansas, who can't even beat Memphis, by the way. And, you'll get the occasional upset, but I mean, gosh, like Notre Dame, all they had to do was maybe play those games week 3 and 4, and they probably win one of them and they're in. So Notre Dame is easily one of the best teams right now. They've proven that as they've won 10 in a row, which is hard to do in college football. And they got one of the best players in college football. And you mean to tell me that team isn't better than Alabama? I would venture to guess if they played 10 times, Notre Dame probably wins at least 7. Easily.
But here's the thing. I think, honestly, if you look at the resumes, Alabama has the better resume.
But it's loaded by SEC
it
bias
is.
crap.
It is. But Notre Dame played no one
You're trying to have
outside
your
of the first 2 games.
You're trying to have your cake and eat it too. That's the problem.
They played no one, though, Alex. Not a single quality team once they moved past week 2.
And really, did Bama, though?
And it's because...
Besides Georgia?
Well,
I don't think Missouri's quality. I don't think Tennessee's quality.
What about Oklahoma? They lost to Oklahoma. That's a good win. That should count for something, right?
That's a good
They lost to Georgia. That was a good win. Oh, they beat Georgia, too, by the way. And who the hell did Notre Dame beat that was of any quality?
I'm not saying
nobody
that they did. I'm just saying the way that they're playing right now, they are a much better team than Alabama. And we just, and the whole crap about, we set the precedent that conference championship games still matter. Well, where was that for Wisconsin in 2017? They got punished for losing to us. They should have been in over Alabama. Alabama lost to Auburn. They got to sit at home watching Wisconsin barely lose that game, by the way. It was a close game. It was 1-score, 2-score game.
Here's the problem. Here's what it comes down to. And I'm not going to deny it. I have bias against Notre Dame.
No.
But everybody else on here is letting their SEC bias, their hatred for the SEC, do the same thing.
I'm coming from it objectively. Alabama.
I don't think you can say you're coming at it objectively, Alex.
I am.
When you have the resumes between those 2 teams.
I am, because
and I understand the eye test that everyone wants to talk about, but the eye test is BS.
No,
it's
not.
It's not.
It absolutely is.
It's a part of the overall formula.
When Syracuse is your toughest opponent the second half of the season, the eye test is BS.
Alabama played Eastern Illinois a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
Well, we know they play their cream puff right before rivalry week every year.
And they don't get to anymore. And it'll be interesting to see next year when they have 9 conference games, how many less SEC teams are bowl eligible, and then they'll cry about that. Oh, well, we got to play one more game in our conference.
And I'll be happy to see that.
Like, God, this is so unfair. Oh, we should get in as a 5-loss team because we're the SEC.
You know what?
Rough down here.
All right, guys.
You,
all right.
you know what should have
Hold
happened
on,
with all
Chris.
this? They should have put Duke in.
All right, Chris.
That would have solved the whole problem. Put
Actually,
Duke in there with their 5 losses.
Chris, I'm gonna come around to that. Okay, Mika, I think I found someone else, Chris, to fight with. Alex. I'm so glad you're here tonight. Usually it has to be me. 2 things. Number 1, Urban Meyer said it best. They asked Urban Meyer his opinion on this. He says, I think you should earn your way in by winning your conference championship. That's what he said. At the end of the day, you know who has the best postseason in college sports? It's not basketball, by the way. It's baseball.
Baseball.
They break it down regionally.
Yep.
If college football would ever go to that concept, it would take away all this argument. You have to win your region. They break it down regionally, and then you win your region, and that's how you get in to the 4 or 8, if there's 8 regions or whatever, playoff. But,
Joel Klatt talked about playing games too, where like teams that are maybe on the bubble, play each other while the conference championship games are going on. But I mean, football, it can't be like baseball, basketball, where you play all these extra games. It's really physical sport.
It's too physical for that.
Okay, Bobby Mack, great question. We'll get to that in just a second. Martinez, my man, $10 super chat tonight. Appreciate you, brother. Eric, here's a little something, brother. They know that Catholics versus Mormons would be great for their pocket with 2 upcoming young coaches. Yes, I the first thing I said when Notre Dame was left out on our Patreon channel was, oh my gosh, if it's Notre Dame versus BYU, sign me up for this. And you nailed it. You nailed that, Martinez. I think Notre Dame knew exactly what they were trying to do there. Bobby Mack's question is great. It's for you, Chris.
I saw it, and I'm going to tell you right now, I would rather play Notre Dame because Marcus Freeman chokes every time Ohio State's on the other sideline. It is a guaranteed win.
We thought that about Indiana and the team up north too at one point.
Well, the team up north cheated, and Indiana just played a hell of a game.
They did.
Indiana played a hell of a game. I'm not taking anything away from Indiana.
Notre Dame's going to get us one year.
Hasn't happened since, 1946 or something like that?
36? But who's counting? But Indiana hadn't beaten us in 30 games until yesterday. It's going to happen at some point, Chris, unfortunately.
All right.
It won't happen with Marcus Freeman. That's all I'm saying.
No, we had 34 votes. And I went to YouTube and made a poll. 34 votes. Did Notre Dame get screwed? 65 yes, 35 no. That is a really good kind of split on that one. And I kind of saw that same thing happening in the chat. It felt like it was kind of split between yes and no on that one. That was a really good debate. That was fun. And I didn't have to fight Chris. I started to, and then Alex was like, tag me in, bro.
I just want to say thank you for having me on tonight. That rant there just made it worth it. Was that my early Christmas present?
Yeah. Mika, you've been asking to get back on the round table for a while. I heard you, and tonight was that night. So appreciate you jumping in. Alex, thank you for jumping in tonight. Appreciate you as well. Chris, my man, my brother.
What's up?
Great to do a show with you, Alex.
Great to do a show with you.
I hope I get to do it again sometime.
I look forward to some of the work we get to do this week, Chris and I. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Can we bring Alex along? It was fun.
Yeah, it's going to be a long 3 weeks, boys. It's going to be a long 3 weeks.
Yeah, we got to fill the void with some content between now and the end of the month. So we never covered the crappy refs. Golly, no, we didn't, and nor do I want to.
It's just an excuse.
This would hurt a lot less if 2023 never happened.
Exactly.
I'll just say that.
Yep.
Martinez, Chris says, hey, man, Boggs, tell Chris I love his passion and get his hate for us the way I hate Bama. So That's coming from a Notre Dame man tipping
Hey,
his hat
I
to you,
got
Chris.
nothing but respect for him. Nothing
That's
but
it.
respect.
So am I doing your show again this Saturday, Chris?
No.
Okay, so I'm doing the call-in show
Wait a minute,
tomorrow.
what is this Saturday, the 13th? No, I'll be fine to do the show on well, whatever you want to do, man.
If you're
We
good,
can talk off air.
yeah, we'll talk off. Tomorrow's call-in show would either be Chris or myself. Tomorrow night, 8:00 Eastern, right here on the OHIO podcast. Thank you again today for the person who donated the $60 for a membership to Patreon, and we'll be giving that to Roy. So that was really awesome tonight. We appreciate that. Thank you for the super chat, Martinez. Thank you for everybody who has been here having fun in the chat. 61 of you watching live right now. Make sure you smash that like button if you haven't already. If you're watching on TV, hit the up button. If you hit the up button on your remote, it goes up and opens up a screen where you can then scroll over and hit the like. That would help us out as well. We really appreciate that. Jar, good to see you tonight, man. So many of you. We appreciate our family here. Please consider doing more over at Patreon. It only costs $5 a month to be a part of our Patreon community. And there we get to, I think Tuesday night, we're watching the basketball game together against Illinois. We watch the basketball games together. We do all kinds of fun things on Friday nights. We just do like a hangout. We're calling it the Lodge. So if you want to hang out in the Lodge with everybody, get you a Patreon membership, hang out with us. It's a great time. Yes, Chris.
Eric, I have a question real quick. How many subscribers did we gain on YouTube this week?
Oh, gosh. It was, since last Saturday, it's been over 500.
Okay. Here is my challenge to everyone in the chat, everyone watching in the Twitterverse. If you can share this with all your friends and we can get another, what is it, roughly 390 that gets us to 6,000?
Yeah.
If we can get 390 before we come back here next Sunday night, I will also purchase someone a 1-year membership to Patreon.
Oh, wow. I thought for a minute there you were going to say you were going to take your shirt off. But I remember that's what Bart does.
No, but you know what? I've got a picture of Bart from Baker's.
Oh, you have one with his shirt off?
Where he's got his shirt lifted up to about his ears, yeah.
I think
we should sell that picture. Go over to Patreon and we'll see if we'll bid it up.
Cut him out. Put him on that snowy end zone up in Ann Arbor, going like this or whatever.
You have Brutus doing the Script Ohio, and then right next to him is Bart.
Yeah, or he could dot the I. He could be the I dot.
Oh my God!
I think if we get to 6,000 Grumpy Cat should wear I Love Marcus Freeman t-shirt.
That will never happen. If we got 10,000 memberships in a week, I wouldn't do that.
God, if he became our head coach someday, that'd be content right there.
Well, no, it wouldn't, because I've said it before and I'll say it again. It's the day I lay down my headset.
Oh, come on!
That bad, huh?
Yes.
Wow.
Don't worry, guys. If that day happens, trust me, he's probably going to become my main guy over at the college huddle. So, I'm not letting this guy get away from me. He's too valuable to me. Trust me. I will find a way to convert him.
I'll reel him in too.
We'll find a way to get Chris converted.
You can't hide your Buckeye pride even when Freeman's involved, Chris.
There's no Buckeye pride in Freeman. He's not a real Buckeye.
Oh, listen to you.
Goodness.
On that note, guys, if you guys want to see a great show tomorrow at 10 a.m., Always Irish, John Kennedy, he busted out a video this afternoon that is gold. Go hang out with all of them. Be kind, Buckeyes. Don't be trolly. Just go be kind. There'll be some of them who hate you simply because you're a Buckeye, but that's all right. Most of them are great people. They accept me with open arms for the most part. But that show will be fire tomorrow. I promise you, if you want some good content, Always Irish tomorrow, 10 a.m. call-in show will be absolutely lit. Tomorrow night, call-in show at 8 o'clock. Tuesday night, Buckeye Lounge at 8 o'clock. Thursday night, Buckeye Ladies at 8 o'clock. Chris, we don't have a preview this week. We have
We'll
to
find
figure out-
something to throw in there, Eric.
We have to figure out something to do for
You
Wednesday.
can preview my tears.
You can do Illuminati Tuesday too.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll have the Illuminati. Yep, but Illuminati's over on Patreon. It's one of the extra podcasts that we have. It's Marvelous Mika's very own podcast called The Illuminati. Best name in the podcast world.
Martinez, by the way, don't be fooled. Marcus Freeman is not an Irishman any more than he's a Buckeye. His loyalty is for sale.
His loyalty is
Goodness,
for sale.
Chris, come on, dude.
Real quick, I saw in the video that Eric and I did that somebody talked about Keen Buckeye needing a crown to get the hot glue gun out. I do actually have one.
This is a gorgeous crown, by the way.
Yeah, and I do wear it very nicely. It does fit without the hat on, I promise you. Yeah, there's actually plenty of pictures of me on my social media of the getup I used to wear for games until the team up north ripped it out of my soul to do it. So maybe I'll dress up again for one of these shows. We'll see.
You know who's going to want one of those, Eric? DK.
If you ever decide to
DK
sell,
is going to want one of those crowns.
Me too. I want one.
I do got plenty untouched ones that I can make in the crown. So we'll see.
Tyler said from here on out you got to wear the crown, bro.
Well, I got to make a way to fit it with the headset on because that's a little tough.
All right, guys, that's it. We've been on here for too long, almost 2 hours. Have a great night, everybody. Be kind of one another. IO someone's OH to Carmen High with all your heart. You all know what to do. OH.
I
I-O.
Go Bucks.